principles I think Christians can practice or cultivate, habits, virtues we can cultivate that I think are helpful with this. One would be excellence in our work. That if you make something that's truly beautiful, that if you make something that's truly valuable, depending on what your work is, depending on what your gifts are, then it becomes a lot harder to not appreciate, to not feel an element of gratitude as a human for that thing that is beautiful. So I'll certainly pick on myself that, like as a preacher, if I want unbelievers who are by nature hostile to the gospel, certainly as they are in today's culture, I need to produce beautiful sermons. Turns of phrase, words, visual images, metaphors, stories that arrest their attention, that they find compelling and irresistible. There's got to be a strong oratorical element that holds their heart captive. A beautiful sermon. So be excellent in what you do. There's also then, there was a sermon last night that mentioned being relational in what you do. So again, like you're saying, the Westminster delegates would go home and they would eat together and they would talk together and they would have this relationship, and this just as beauty and excellence has a virtue that is compelling and arresting and captivating. So a true relationship, a true friendship, where I'm genuinely interested in another individual, has a way of drawing someone in and opening someone up. So the phrase I like to use is the power of the second question. And again, this may be culturally specific, but in Boston or Cambridge in the US, you might say, "How are you doing?" It's kind of a throwaway question. Everybody says, "Fine," "Okay," "I'm tired." These throwaway answers. The power of the second question is the idea of, if you follow that up with, "What were you working on this week? Did any of the kids get sick this week?" You ask a second question that says, no, I'm serious. I want to learn something about you. I want to be part of your life. You show true concern for that person. You lean in. I think that is helpful too, in terms of removing ourselves from the interpersonal baggage. The third one would be cultivating a communication style that is, I'm not sure how to say this, I'll use psychological terms, I guess, that is affirming and that is validating. So, did anyone notice every time you guys asked a question, I would say, first thing out of my mouth,
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Every single time, And I would smile, even if inside I was like, "Oh, I hate that question." Because I want to communicate, I love questions. I want to communicate an openness to questions, a receptivity to questions. So to try and make this a little more specific, if you're in a relationship or a conversation with someone who has a hurt or a grievance regarding the church, it might be really valuable to validate that grievance, as much as you don't want to say, "I'm sorry that happened to you. And I can see how that hurt you. And I just wish there was a way I could communicate to you how much Jesus cares about you in that hurt and in that problem. And recognize that there are real questions that are hard to answer. And there are real hurts that really have happened. And it's okay to, as Christians, to say, "This doesn't make sense to me." don't be too quick on the draw to, produce an answer. Another example that would be in the talk on baptism about Ishmael and Esau. Hopefully, I modeled that sense of, it's a hard question. What happens when baptized church attending people grow up and leave the faith? I don't know. It's a painful question. It's hard. All I can do is validate the pain. All I can do is affirm the confusion. I can't answer it.